Who's doing the actual Euros? I wonder. What's the team?
It must be RT, is it?
Surely it's free, yeah. I don't know though. If Ireland aren't going, do they bother getting the rights?
It'd be a moneymaker though, surely, wouldn't it? Because I mean, if Sky don't have it, I don't think as many people have. Or do BT have it, or is it a BBC thing?
Yeah, I think it's BBC and like the free ones, so it must be. Yeah.
Yeah, because like most people wouldn't have BBC. Well,
yeah.
If you have Sky, you have BBC, I suppose.
Mm.
I don't know. If you only had Sky Sports, you wouldn't have BBC.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just wondering who's going to be the analysts as well.
Probably fucking Damien Duff, barrel ass himself. I actually watch Bundesliga, so
we all do, Damien.
Don't come at me like that ever again.
I'm still big.
Who else do they have? Fucking Richie Sadler.
I'd like Brian Kerr, more of him. I love Kerr.
He's a virgin, man. I think they have him under contract.
What did you say about Brian Kerr?
He's a virgin, man.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Fucking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Yeah, grand. Sure, fuck, we'll get started so we'll go drink and boo.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. This could be the death of the podcast. The points are back.
Yeah. Do you want to just skip it this week? Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. Euro 2020 team breakdown part 2. We're back to give you the second half of the breakdown. Full disclosure, we recorded the first half of this on Monday, and we were looking at the time, and as you all know, the pubs are open, so we said we'll cut it in half, and so we can get it up quicker and go for points. So we're back today, a little bit hungover, to do this, to round out the second half. We've already done it. It's already done. We're going to play a clip we prepared earlier, and we just so you know, this is from Monday. So if anything has changed in the meantime, our hands were tied. Our hands were tied around pints of Guinness, and there's nothing we could do. So without further ado, take it away. Maybe me or Will. Go.
So Group E then is. I'm going to say this is the most Euros group you'll ever see.
Okay.
Poland, Slovakia, Sweden, and Spain. It's just...
That's a very Euros group.
Yeah, it's like...
I like that a lot, actually.
It's you don't really know much about the teams, but you kind of know they're good.
Yeah. You know, like a player from at least 2 players from every team, yeah.
So I'll start with Poland, who have a really good team.
We should be supporting Poland. We should be supporting our Polish brothers living over here. You know, that's what we should be supporting. But look, the wheel. We respect the wheel. Okay, the wheel was spun in February. We can't change it now. I mean, we could obviously, but we're not going to.
Their team they've a good choice of keeper in Fabianski and Chesney. So I don't know who you start of those two. They're both good, solid. Like
what's the word in the street? Who's going to start?
Fabianski's been starting lately, which I was surprised at. I thought Chesney would have, but
2 failed Arsenal keepers here. I don't know if you know who you're talking about. I mean, I know they've had good careers after Arsenal. Chesney maybe more with Juve, but I mean, come on, let's not get carried away here.
I'm basing Fabianski entirely on fantasy football.
Yeah, he makes those saves because the ball's kicked at him a lot. But I mean, his Flappyanski was literally his name at Arsenal because he used to flap the ball every so often. So,
well, he's in goal for Poland.
muchness, I would say. Pick your poison, Poles.
Then they got Bednarek, Glick, Zielinski, Milik, and of course Lewandowski. Who, I mean, that's who. I'd imagine it get the ball to Lewandowski and he'll do a goal is their whole game plan. Because what else would you do? Like, there's no reason to change that if it works.
Is Milik in the squad?
Milik is in the squad, apparently.
Yeah, he had a bad cruciate there a couple of years ago, but I mean, he was really coming good for Napoli. It was like two of them in front, but I don't think he's back to where he was.
I don't think so. But I think I think it's because he's just there to get the ball to Lewandowski, so it's probably less pressure on him at international level. Weirdly, because he's like, oh, I just have to kick it in that direction, and it's probably a goal. Another one to watch they have that I found out about, who I'd never heard of, but Kasper Kozlowski, who's 17 years old, got his first cap, and he's been called up after one cap. He's apparently like really highly rated, and he's lauded in Polish media as like he's going to be the next
Troy Parrott.
the next Troy Parrott. Yeah.
Well, they have quite the player in their hands.
Yeah. So he's one to keep an eye on. Again, the Euros is sometimes like a shop window for players like that. We were talking about Renato Sanchez before, who went to Bayern after Euros. It's their first time in 3 international tournaments in a row ever, which I was surprised at.
Fair play to them.
But they did finish absolute dead bottom of the group at the last World Cup, if you remember.
I do, yeah. I'm having a pretty underwhelming World Cup.
And something that's probably going to go against them, I'd imagine, unless they get a bounce from it. They have a new manager, Pablo Sousa, who will have managed 3 games with them when the Euros start. He's only just come in.
Ooh.
He managed Swansea and Leicester in the 2000s. Fun fact.
Oh, back when they weren't in the Premier League.
Back when they were nothing teams. He did play for Juve, Dortmund and Inter all throughout the 90s though. So he must have been good.
Hey, look, good players don't always make great managers. That's the failing of a lot of them, unfortunately.
So I went on Twitter and I went translating some tweets about him.
Nice.
And the general consensus was pretty much, from the Polish badly translated to English, was they're not mad on him, like the fans aren't mad on him. Poor brand of football, boring, but by God he gets results.
Oh, yes. I'm not like Paul now, yeah. I like someone who gets results, Will. You know that.
So I'm looking forward to hopefully Poland playing, was it Czech Republic in the final, with the 2 managers, hard-nosed, get results, most red cards in history of Czech Republic versus this guy.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Next is Slovakia, who you might remember, Cathal, we lost to in a penalty shootout to stop us getting to the Euros. So this would have been our group.
Yeah.
Not good they are, from what I've looked up.
Well, they barely beat us. I mean, that should be analysis enough. They
were missing 4 players with COVID in that game, and including 3 of their best players. Skriniar is their captain, and they just basically lock up shop, try grind out a result, which is
us.
No, well, us and them.
Not anymore. Be describing either side there.
Not anymore. Not with Kenny's kids.
Oh, sorry. What we're talking about? That's the old Ireland. That's the the old days, the old miserable Trapattoni days when we used to qualify. This is the new Ireland.
The joyous sit-at-home era.
Kenny's Galactico Ireland. Yeah. Sorry, you're right.
In 2016, they got to the round of 16. They scraped through. Because, like I said, they grind out results, just park the bus, try get 1-0s and 0-0s, which is a bit easier when you have Skriniar at the back, who's unbelievable, and like starts for Inter regularly. And then he's Dubravka in goal, who's very good for them. So
yeah.
So it's tough to to nick a goal against them when you get through the block and it's those 2 at the back then, waiting for you. Not much else to them though, really. So I can't imagine them doing too well. And on to Sweden, who Zlatan is out for the Euros.
Yeah, no Ibra for them.
So, the entertaining part of Sweden is gone. They're, I don't know. Something about Sweden. I think they're my least favourite Euros team every time. It always seems like they're playing when I'm watching.
Yeah, a very standoffish people, supposedly. Like the temperature they're cold, the people also very cold. My favourite Sweden moments was probably when England were beating them and they were like chanting at them,
Yeah.
and then they chanted back, "Go home to your ugly wives,"
Yeah.
which is so funny. Because it's just like, does everyone in Sweden have a good looking wife then, I suppose? I mean, I guess they do. You know, if you're confident to chant that as a group, you know, you're just confident in, you know. It's great.
How did that even, did they come prepared with that, or was that just a natural, everyone knew what to say?
Everyone just had a nod and went, yeah, we know, we may be a shite football team and boring, but we have a very good looking selection of wives in the group here. I think we can all agree on that.
They've been knocked out of the group stage in the last 3 tournaments in a row.
I saw, is Larson still playing for them? Seb Larson?
He is still playing for them. He's in the squad.
Jesus Christ. He was past at Sunderland years ago.
Their squad, it's, I don't know, it's not up to them. They've Lindelof and Forsberg, probably their 2 best players, and Kulusevski, who plays for Juventus, is 21. Mm-hmm. He's like a real star for the future, and he's like their most creative player, kind of does everything. But he played like 40-something games for Juve, was good, but he got 7 goals, 7 assists.
Yeah.
Which is like good for a young player, but I don't know if you're relying on that at the Euros, you might be in a bit of bother.
Yeah, that's why teams kind of bring experienced players, because they're always, you know, wary of the crowds and the effect that every tournament has on younger players, but we'll see, I suppose.
And then finally in the group is Spain, who we talked about a good bit already. No Madrid players is the big thing, obviously. And I was thinking, I wonder, does Enrique get sacked if they don't do well? Like if they get knocked out of the groups? Because that's such an easy thing to be like, well, obviously you're going to get knocked out if you don't bring any Madrid players. Get the fuck out of here. So, well,
I saw this out because whenever we talked about this before, when he brought 24, I was like, oh, and he's probably going to fill that up. He just said, no, I'm only bringing 24. I know I can bring 26. I know that, but I don't think I need that. Yeah. They're not all going to play, so what's the point? So he said, Ramos, you're not coming. Even though I have a space open, I'm not going to give that to anybody rather than bring you.
Yeah.
So he's gone the opposite of the, we need the experience in the squad. He's like, if you're not fit, you're not playing. I don't care. I'd rather have nobody than you.
So it's a risky move because, I mean, if they get knocked out of the groups, he's gone, definitely. Because the Spanish media would crucify him for that, surely.
Like it's a bold move to do that. Like it's a sackable offense not bringing enough players, and I mean, I was watching the Portugal game, the challenge game they had, Portugal Spain. And Morata was like Chelsea Morata. Like he was just not able to finish his dinner. I think they have Moreno as well.
Yeah, I have their squad here. Their squad is ridiculous.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Their squad is like a fucking all-star team, to be honest. I'll literally just go through like most of them.
Who's in goal for them?
In goal is Unai Simon for Bilbao, who is in over De Gea. De Gea especially... He might have got in, but I think after the Europa League, like, these games go to penalties. You don't want him.
That damn fax machine will ruin that man's career.
They also got Laporte in lately, who's switched from France. And Deschamps is not happy about that. I don't know if you saw that.
Really?
Yeah, he came out in the media saying he was like turned his back on Spain and stuff like that, which... He didn't pick him, man. What's he
turns his back on France, sure.
Turns back on France, yeah, sorry. He turned his back on Spain and then turned around and walked.
Yeah. You're just spinning around, middle fingers in the air at everybody in France and Spain at one time. I mean, that did seem strange. It's kind of like we always say with like Grealish and Rice. It's like, look, if they feel English or they feel Irish, that's fine. But like, pick a side. Don't fucking... So for Laporte to go like last minute, oh, actually, I have a strong... Spanish sense of me just all of a sudden. Just before the Euro start, I'm not getting picked for France. I feel pretty Spanish right now. If something kind of feels a bit kind of off about, it's like, do you really feel Spanish, or are you just doing this because they have a team that you can play in or whatever, so.
But
he is good.
He's a good player. They've got loads. Like, they've got Thiago, Azpilicueta, Koke. Busquets is gone. I don't know what Busquets is like these days, really.
He's still solid.
They've got Rodri, Ferran Torres from City, who has scored 6 goals in 10 games for them. including a hat-trick against Germany.
Oh, he's in my fantasy team. Don't you worry about that. Yeah. I had to replace Asensio, who didn't get to go.
And then, like I said, Morata up top. They're also bringing Adama Traore, who I thought was awful this year. You just ran up and down the wings, didn't really offer much else.
Dan James with the gym membership, as I've seen online. Which I think is literally harsh on Dan James, but whatever. Yeah. They have the hero of the Europa League final, Pau Torres, centre back.
They do indeed, and
who got absolutely done by Cavani. So I'm not sure. Laporte have a really good game at the back, is what I'm trying to say.
And Pau Torres again is another player who's linked with a move away, so he could be going anywhere if he does well. Like if Spain win the Euros, I'd imagine everyone's coming knocking on his door. That's that group. I think. I mean, it's probably pretty.
How do you see it going?
Spain have to finish first, don't they? Spain.
They should finish. Yeah, they should finish first.
I'd assume Spain, Poland, Sweden, Slovakia. If Poland don't absolutely shit the bed again, like they did in the last tournament.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, I'll move on to my last group. So, Group C. Former enemies, former European qualifier, whatever. Austria, who we do have history with, another like bang average team that we have failed to beat on numerous occasions. Yeah. They're at the Euros. Similar in that, like I suppose their Seamus Coleman is the David Alaba.
Yeah.
He's obviously he's gone to Real Madrid now on a free. He's left Bayern. He's only 28 as well, so he's still at the peak of his powers. He's probably going to play centre mid for them, as he does, and kind of create things for them. But they also have Arnautovic, formerly of Stoke, formerly of West Ham.
Currently, is he still in China?
Yeah, I think he's in China now, but still probably one of the more talented players. They have a saying in Austria, "Früher war alles besser," which means everything was better before. So a nostalgic people, who pine for happier times. I guess when they had that empire that enslaved people, that's probably what they're referring to. But yeah, they looked like they were coming a bit like us in 2016. You would have said this is a jumping off point. Surely they'll kick on from here, and this could be the start of like a new kind of golden era for Ireland. Similar to Austria, who are about our level. You got David Alaba pushing it, but I don't think there's much excitement in Austria about this tournament. I don't think there's much expectation on them either. I think they're probably, we'll have a go, but not too much expectation coming out of the group. Again, they qualified. They had a pretty decent qualifying campaign, but nothing crazy in terms of statistics or goals or players who had great games. Nobody, fantastic coming through. But I think for them, the previous Euros, 2016, they got the group stage, didn't get out of the group. 2008, didn't get out of the group. Previous to that, they didn't qualify. They hosted in 2008 as well, don't forget. So they really only qualified for one through the qualification process. Yeah. So I think it's probably, they had a period there about 5 years ago where they were coming really good, but I think that's why he died a bit, and they're going to see how this one goes, but there's not much kind of expectation on it. So, I can't see him doing too much at the Euros. The team that you might think would be a dark horse or could go all the way, the Netherlands. Good players, but haven't seemed to be able to put it together on the pitch. They were happy enough last year when it was delayed because Depay had done his cruciate. Yeah. And now, of course, more importantly, Van Dijk is on his cruciate and how he's out. So I think if they had to pick one, they probably would have picked Van Dijk, but as it is, Depay is back, Van Dijk is out. Like I say, on paper, really good team. De Ligt, De Vrij, Daley Blind, Frankie de Jong. But these players haven't had amazing seasons. De Ligt, is linked away from Juve. They obviously, you go from winning 9 in a row, whatever they had, to losing it. You got to point at new signings, obviously. It must be their fault. but he's still an excellent player. What I would worry about is I think Sketlenberg is still in the squad and he may start, which points to their lack of strength in the number one position. Also, Daley Blind is solid. He's good, but I mean,
Yeah.
you'd be hoping that someone else would take his spot by now. I think he also has an injury. They have Patrick Van Aanholt, but he never seemed to be kind of in favour with the Dutch side.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But Depay is the guy. If they're going to score goals, it's going to be Depay. I think he's scored the last 2 friendlies as well for them. He has been in great form for Leon. Seemed to found a new lease of life in the Farmers League. So we'll see if those goals against part-timers and plumbers translates to the Euros. He could be on his way to Barcelona, as we know. A good tournament would definitely solidify that. For shirt sales alone, as we all know, they'll make the money back.
Well, they make the money back in shirt sales, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So yeah, again, good on paper, but we saw them get pumped by Turkey.
Did we ever?
About a month ago, 4-2. They concede goals easily.
Yeah,
that's where the issue lies. So it's never a good recipe for going far in tournaments. Like winning games 3-2 or 4-3. I mean, it's never going to last because other teams have good defense. So yeah, I think they probably should get to the group, but I don't think they're going to go much further than that if they do. Maybe last 16. But they do have some really good players as well, so you never know.
Yeah.
The other thing that they lost in the middle of qualifying, Coleman went to Barcelona, as we know, and De Boer is in, Frank De Boer. Not many people in Netherlands are convinced on him.
Yeah.
I think they're probably not, like I said, not convinced. It hasn't been going too well for them. So yeah, we'll see how far they go. But good players on paper, but I don't think they'd be able to put it quite together. But maybe the reuniting of Frankie de Jong and De Ligt back to the Ajax days, that might, when it comes to the Euros, I might feel like they're in the Champions League again, beating Tottenham. Who knows? But yeah, the other team in the group then, North Macedonia. I mean, there's always a kind of a Make-A-Wish kid in the tournament. I think, how are they there? We're not there. But they are there. Not much to say on North Macedonia.
I think
honestly.
I know their 2 best players, if I'm right.
Yeah, it goes to go.
Elif Ilmaz and Enis Bardi are both very good, I think.
I thought you were going to mention Alioski of Leeds.
I forgot about him.
And Goran Pandev. Remember him? You'd know him if you see him. He's like he's exactly who if you said, oh yeah, he's from North Macedonia, and then Goran Pandev came around the corner, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Like he has like kind of like a widow's peak, but like he's jacked and he's about like 5'7", very strong, stout man.
A barreler, as Brian Kerr once called Shaqiri.
Exactly that, a barreler. He got the goal against Germany when they beat them.
Yeah.
So that's their Tazan. Again, their first tournament they've qualified for in terms of Euro. So it's all gravy. Anything after this point is bonus. Yeah. Every game, every goal they score. Think South Africa in the World Cup in 2010, like that kind of expectation on them. So yeah, I think they'd be fun games to watch because they'll definitely go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'd do well to get out of the group, I'd say. The last team then, they're going insane in the Ukraine. A bit of drama this week. They released their kit for the Euros and they had an outline of Ukraine on it, and they had Crimea in there as well, which really pissed off the Russians.
How dare they?
Yeah. It was annexed fair and square. They had an election and everything. It was totally free and a fair election. So yeah, they've come to fight. They're not going to shy away from this, Will. They're going to come here and they're going to fucking, make an impact in this tournament.
Can they play Russia at some stage? Is that possible?
If they get out of the group. They're not in the same group as them, but if they get out of the group, all bets are off.
That'd be good. They have to wear the Crimea jersey then. They have to.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Their main player, Zinchenko of Man City.
Great player.
De Bruyne's son.
Viktor Zigankov also plays for them, I believe.
Yeah. What does he play?
He plays left wing, I think. I know him from Football Manager and stuff.
He's not in the potential lineup. I don't know, is he injured or not?
He might not be that good in real life also.
One name you might recognise, Yarmolenko.
Mm-hmm.
Forever linked with Premier League clubs. Finally got his move to West Ham.
And then nothing.
He was fine, a fine player. Just fine. Yarmachuk and Zubkov also will complete that front three. Shevchenko, of course, the legend himself. Shevchenko was the manager. Made some weird comments about wanting to manage in Italy. So who knows if he's thinking about this Euros or down the line. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Again, it's not that bad a group with North Macedonia. Netherlands not going fantastically well, and who is it? Austria. Ukraine would fancy themselves to get out of this group, I think.
Yep, I think so.
I think with the players they have, I think they're solid enough. They'd be hoping to get out. Like I've said a few times now, there's always kind of a team that underperforms. You think it might be Croatia. I think it might be Netherlands. I could see Netherlands not getting out of this group. Because, like I said, the teams here, they don't have great expectations of getting to the final and winning it. So there's no kind of like, oh, we'll pace ourselves for the final. They're going to go all out in this group.
Yeah.
So when they play Netherlands, that's the big game. That's the game you want to play well against. So, and Netherlands not going 100%. I think they could get caught in the hot by one or if not two of these teams. Yeah. So if I had to guess, if I had to pick winners from this group, I'm looking at maybe Austria to come top, despite their low expectations for the team. I'm not going to go the whole way. I'm going to say Netherlands still qualify. I think Netherlands second, maybe.
Coward.
I don't know. I think it's just there's a lot of because there's a lot of anger towards De Boer recently. Did you see the squad announcement?
No, I don't think so.
He did this very weird thing where he decided he would lie to make himself look better. We've all done it. But he did it. He said he personally told all the 6 players that were axed from the provisional squad that they wouldn't be making the team. I don't know I don't know how he thought that would not be found out, but El Ghazi of Aston Villa showed the text that he got saying that he was dropped from the team. So, I mean, people in Netherlands kind of like, well, like, again, it's not illegal. It's just morally really shitty thing to do. Like, why?
Why say it? It's obviously going to come out. Yeah,
it's obviously going to come out. But I guess people who do this kind of stuff have such a opinion of themselves that he just thought, yeah, I'll just say this and it'll be true. And then also there's a kind of not a revolution, but I think 6 of the Netherlands team have said they're not going to take the vaccine, which I think is a cultural thing in the Netherlands.
Right.
Like, it's kind of, you got your freedom to do any drugs or take any drugs, to not do it, So I think it is a little bit different, but in this circumstance, people are kind of like, well, you should take it. And De Boer read the room wrong. It was like, yeah, I support them 100%. And they're like, you support them? He's like, no. What do you want me to say? So people are like, this guy has no character at all. This guy's a total fucking, liar. And he's
so
just
are they? What's the story then? Are they allowed to just play and just get like maybe tested? Probably.
Well, this is the thing. You don't have to have it, but if you do get an outbreak in the team, you could be fucked. Yeah. So from a Netherlands competing point of view, it's like, well, surely you should sacrifice your if you want to do it or not. So it's just kind of a mess. So my overall point being that the media are kind of already against the board, thinking this guy's a bit of a spoofer. If the team gets a COVID outbreak and, like I say, it runs through them when they're playing Call of Duty and shouting the game award, all hell could break loose.
When
so they draw that first.
When Delit is commenting on Bill Gates' Instagram, liking, Lover, you're dead right, lover.
It could all go awry very quickly. It's a short process. So I think if they're to lose that first game, who knows what could happen. I think they do have enough, looking at the group of North Macedonia, Ukraine, and Austria, to get through second at worst. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come first.
Yeah.
And I think the team that will benefit from that is probably, I'm going to switch it again. I'm going to say Ukraine. Ukraine are going through. Zinchenko all the way, baby.
Yeah. Right. So the last group, and it is the big one, really.
Last but not least, Will.
Yeah. France, Portugal, Germany, and poor Hungary.
Oof.
Oh man, that just feels like the group Ireland would have got if we got through.
It's like our 2012 group. That's what it is.
So we start off with the big boys, probably the favourites. France. We've talked about them loads. Question: did you know Benzema's trial for the blackmail of a French teammate is happening in October this year? It hasn't happened yet. He's still
been resolved.
He's still on trial. The trial hasn't even started yet.
Jesus. Well, I'd imagine that's probably lots of high-priced solicitors putting that off and off and off.
Exactly.
And now it's coincided with the Benzema coming back into the team, being like, "Oh fuck, I forgot I had that pending."
So, because I looked into it because we talked about it a bit. So yeah, what happened was he blackmailed. So Val Buena got a text from a childhood friend saying, "We have a video of it and we're going to leak it if you don't pay us." And Val Buena went, "Okay, I'm just going to bring this text immediately to the police." And the police found out the text was Benzema.
Well, how do you know it was a childhood friend?
Well, I think he probably had it under...
he said, "This is your childhood friend."
Well, I'd imagine he was in his contacts, like, "Benzema, my best friend."
So Valbuena knew the whole time as Benzema?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Now, maybe I'm wrong in picking that up wrong, but what I also picked up...
That's a funny story. It doesn't matter. It's way funnier than the truth.
What I'm also picking up from that...
this is Karim Benzema. Hang on, there's a knock on my door. Oh, I'm under arrest.
Well, that was what I was thinking. He just texted him, the most easily traceable thing to do in the world.
First things first, don't tell anybody. I've told the police. I told you not to tell anybody. Fuck.
So he obviously got kicked out of the team when that came out. Four other people will also stand trial in October over the blackmail scheme. When the story broke, Benzema faced a lot of criticism, including the French Prime Minister, who said he had no place in the national team ever again.
I agreed with that, to be fair, at the time. And even now, I mean, he's a good player, but I mean, it is really, it's unbecoming.
Especially because it's just that now he's really good. So it's like, we'll just put it to the side and bring him anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
And then the other side of that story was Benzema taking shots at Giroud over the years for being in the team instead of him, and comparing Giroud to a go-kart and himself to a Formula 1 player. Not that, and he pretty much said, not that there's anything wrong with go-karts, but, I'm a
one's
Formula...
faster and one's slower. That's all I'm saying.
One is unreal and fast and makes loads of money, and the other one is a go-kart. I don't know if you saw what Giroud said this week when he was asked about it. He said,
I did.
For the millionth time, I am over this. If we win, we will celebrate with a go-kart race. Which, I mean, he's obviously taken it in good spirits, but even the fact that he's asked a million times, when he sees him, he's going to be like, this fucking idiot.
If I was Giroud, I'd be thinking about the time I cheated on my wife with the prostitutes, and that was recorded. I thought, maybe I should bite my tongue on this thing. I shouldn't throw stones in my glass house. That's probably what he's thinking. He's thinking, listen, it doesn't bother me at all. It's like, let's not even talk about that kind of stuff. Because then once he starts saying that, he opens the whole can of worms. Like, well, you're no saint yourself there, pal.
Yeah.
The whole French team is a bunch of fucking, Don't forget, the French are basically the Brits. And another former empire country who have huge problems with race as well. I mean, that's what they might speak in a nice little accent and have the Eiffel Tower, but like they're basically the Brits.
Not against our one French listener.
I mean, look, nothing against you, but I mean, fuck. Sorry, man. I mean, like you've been with us from day one. But you know yourself.
We're not talking about you.
We're not talking about you specifically, but like, we are as well,
I like to imagine N'Golo Kante is sitting, listening to his phone, listening to his favourite podcast, just tears streaming down his face.
Again, it's not that they're all bad, but generally, I mean, look, did certain elements of the English crowd boo the players taking the knee, or did they not?
Yeah.
That's not all of them, but there was definitely a portion of them who decided they're going to boo that gesture.
Yeah.
That's a reflection on the country.
Yeah.
And France have their own issues with race. This is all going to get cut. We're getting way too off track here, Will. Back to your analysis of the group of death, please.
So their squad is ridiculous. I'll name out, I think I've taken out like maybe 3 or 4 names from the overall squad. But you've got Lloris, Mandanda, Digne, Hernandez, Kimpembe, Koundé, Longley, Pavard, Varane, Zuma, Kante, Lamar, Pogba, Rabiot, Sissoko, Tolisso, Ben Yedder, Benzema, Kingsley Coman, Dembele, Giroud, Griezmann, Mbappe, and Marcus Thuram. That is stupid.
That reminds me of my favourite football song.
Yeah, Zidane.
Play the clip, Will. That's a great clip. What a song.
Yeah.
We should do that. We should do like our, maybe if there's a downtime, probably won't be, but there is, we should do our random favourite football songs.
Yeah, that is a good idea. That's a good bit. So the last bit of France, I forgot to mention it with England, but so Pogba said this week, he said, we have a PlayStation team, but it will remain a PlayStation team if we don't win a trophy. And he said, people are going to...
So wise.
He said, people are going to expect all of this, but that's not football. It's the ego that kills us. We have to keep grounded and humble. In contrast, Harry Kane said about the Euros, if I don't win a major tournament with England, it's a total failure. I mean, come on.
Yes, you love it. Drink it in, Will. Drink it in. Hype.
It gets worse every year.
They haven't won since what, 1966? I mean, that's not even comparable anymore. I mean, the game, that's a different game. I mean, the ball was like basically a pig's head. They played in bog. It's not even the same game. Yet they're just this entitlement to win. You love to see it. You love to see it because they're going to crash and burn. Oh, yes.
And when you're making Pogba look humble and modest, you've gone too far.
It's literally, you would think the quotes would be to the opposite players. Yeah. I mean, you attach the quote like the humble Harry Kane who never smiles and never fucking says anything, versus flashy Pogba always doing fucking TV ads. Yeah.
Well, that's
who's actually won something.
Yeah, that's why they win, because they don't get ahead of themselves.
It is the key to it, But
so next in the group is probably the other favourites, Portugal. Ronaldo is going into it pretty much as the best Euros player in history. He won it in 2016. He's played more games than anyone else in the tournament, more goals in the qualifiers than anyone else. And if he scores 1 at this Euros, he'll have scored the most at the finals of any player in the Euros.
Damn. He's fully fit for the first time in a long time at a tournament.
Only player to score at 4 Euros, and he could make it 5. So he'd be 2 ahead of any other player in terms of goals at Euros. Like,
fuck.
He's insane. How many goals do you think he's scored in the Euros?
So he scored 4 Euros.
4 Euros, and he's level with the most in history. Just the finals now, not qualifiers.
I would say he has 15.
Wrong. 9.
Damn.
I
was thinking...
When I saw 9, I was like, that's not that impressive. And then I read all the stats.
I was thinking 3 a tournament, maybe.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 more. But I guess he's only hasn't got that far all the time. But yeah, that makes more sense than 9.
See, I'd imagine the first one, he probably scored maybe like 1 goal when he was really young.
Yeah. Damn, I should have said 12. Fuck.
So their defense is odd. They have Diaz, Cancelo, Semedo, Guerrero, who are savage. Their backup centre backs are Pepe and Jose Fonte.
Nice experience, Will.
Very
experienced. You need that at these tournaments.
Very experienced.
Well, look, Pepe and Fonte both were still doing it this year.
Yeah,
so
really
they're
good
not kind
seasons.
of charity picks. They're solid players.
And I think I talked about this before, but Fonte was playing in, I think, League One in England before he got a move and moved his way back up the ladder. And now he's gone to the Euros. So That's a crazy story for him. He's 37, I think. So
yeah.
What a
And
fucking...
he played with Lille, wasn't he?
Yeah,
One
won
league
the
with
league with
Lille.
Lille.
That'd be a good year for him.
Ruben Neves is on the way out of Wolves. He's
to Arsenal, baby.
So
come on, you Gunners.
We'll see how well he does at the Euros and see if he plays himself out of Arsenal's price range, possibly. I wouldn't rule that out. If he
as long as he gets to Arsenal first, but also for Portugal's point of view, doesn't actually get to meet anyone at Arsenal.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get too, deflated and kind of, oh no, what have I done? I've made a huge mistake. He's on that honeymoon period, like, yes, I'm going to one of the
big
traditionally big six in England, onward and upward from here for my career. Yes, Ruben, exactly, Ruben. We'll see you Monday, Ruben.
So, yeah, I think whoever wins this group is probably has a good chance of going all the way, especially if France and Portugal don't have to play each other again in the knockouts. That could help out. Like, who else in Portugal as well? Bruno Fernandes, obviously, after the year he's had, he'll be one to watch if he bursts onto the international scene now as well. Because I don't think he really ever has. I think he's just been a club player, kind of.
And wow, Felix, of course, who we were
Felix.
gushing about in the Champions League game they lost against Chelsea.
Wow, Felix and Renato Sanchez, two young lads who, again, all stars if they can pull it out of the bag.
Lille are very good, very well represented this Euros, aren't they? They have a lot of international. That's obviously why they won. They had a good team, decent team at Lille, and a lot of them going to the Euros.
They're popping up everywhere. So next is Germany. Jose Mourinho and Arsene Wenger in the last week have said Germany will crash out in the group stages.
Well, who knows? They're not going too well, are they?
No, things are going very bad. I was thinking maybe because it's your man's last tournament, Lau's last tournament. They went like
Yogi.
One last time for the boys. But I think they've been bad in the friendlies and bad in the qualifiers and just bad altogether. Hammered by Spain 6-0 in November. Lost to Macedonia, like we were saying. Where do you think they're ranked in the world at the moment?
How'd the qualification go for the tournament?
They got through. I think they finished second in the group, I think. Might be wrong.
Ooh. Well, are they outside the top 20?
No, they're in the top 20.
12th.
Bang on.
Yes. Yes.
Which, I don't know if you remember about 20 minutes ago, you said Ireland were once 13th in the world.
Yeah, it doesn't mean a whole lot. It's based on kind of the last few months or whatever. But I mean, they still have good players, though, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. It's weird they are, like, people saying they're going to crash out in the group stage because it is a mental group. But,
yeah,
I mean, when you're you're still Germany and you're kind of a dark horse with, like, people aren't really going to be rating you, stuff like that. You could easily cause an upset. I don't know if Germany beating anyone is an upset, but I mean, they've Neuer, Hummels, Rudiger, Sula, Kroos, Kimmich, Müller, Gundogan, Goretzka, Sane, Havertz, Werner, Gnabry, and Volland. So that's a fucking great team. Like,
decent side. And like I say, Ed Manager's been there for a long time now. They're going to know what they want, what he wants them to do.
And then Flick is coming in, so. And like that's all set up. So I'd imagine these players are also going to be thinking, we want to impress the next manager that's coming in immediately.
Yeah. And is there any kind of scandal with Muller or Hummels?
Very boring. Just back in, not really playing that well.
A smooth transition for them. That's good.
So I think we're putting all our hopes on our boy Timo to finally set it right, come good.
This has to be the time for him.
Yeah.
This has to be, it's now or never, Timo.
Yeah.
If you want to keep your Chelsea spot, if you don't want Erling Haaland to come in here and take your spot, you're going to have to play well these Euros, baby.
And just before I move on, there is one to watch from them as well. Musiala, who is an 18-year-old who regularly starts for Bayern. And he played for England up until under-21s and then jumped over to Germany for the seniors. So what happened to them?
How do you like
exactly.
it? Ha! How do you like it, England? Not so nice happens to you. I hope he fucking has a storm.
Yeah,
of
I
the
hope he
tournament.
win. I hope they win. I hope he lifts it.
Young player of the tournament. Put all your money. Take some of the money that you've put in Italy. Take some
Cancel
of it. Put
the
on
Italy
Musiala.
bet. Cancel the Italy bet. Cash out.
No. Keep the Italy bet. Get a payday loan and put that loan on Musiala to be the young player of the tournament.
Bang.
Yeah, fucking hopefully.
And then last but not least, even though it probably really seems that way, poor Hungary. I mean, they're in the group with that, and their star player, Yabazai, is out for the Euros.
Oh, fuck, not Yabazai.
Who was linked with Arsenal, I think. If I'm right.
Well, I'm not as high up in them now.
So he was like, he is their golden boy, does everything. You know, scores, assists, defends, one of those players, and he is gone. So they don't really have much else. They've a few Leipzig players. They've Galassi in goal, Orban, Adam Zalai up top, who scored 23 goals in 70 games at 34 years of age. So I don't know how much of those goals were early in the international career. So yeah, I don't think they've too much, unfortunately. But I mean, because it's a group of debt, any of the big teams could beat any of the other big teams, and they could maybe slip through the cracks with a draw and an unlikely win against Germany because they're so underrated. Like maybe France will rest players against them because they play Portugal.
Yeah.
So they might slip through. I'd be very surprised though. But
yeah, it would be a huge upset to see two of Germany, Portugal, and France go out in place of Hungary. That would be huge.
So I think France,
look,
Portugal, Germany, Hungary. I think the way the group is how it's going to finish.
Very good, very
That's
good.
All.
What a breakdown of the teams that was, Will. Up to date, and definitely nothing has happened in the meantime. Hopefully, that's changed that. Perfect.
What a
Perfect
night we had.
Once again, use this knowledge, folks, to add to your fantasy teams. Yeah, you can find the link in the description and the link tree, and then in the description of both this podcast and on the bio, there's the code. You bang in that code, and you join the fantasy team. You join the fantasy
That's what we
league.
call it. That's what we like to call it. The fantasy team of fantasy players. We're all a team.
Yeah, join a no nonsense league. Like I said, the code's there. We have it's been rolling now since Monday. Now there's a lot of people in the group, but not too many. That makes it hard for you to win, because if you win, you can get a jersey of your choice. And I promised it in the last episode that we'll also get thrown in an Irish jersey if you so please. Not sure what jersey I'm going to go with yet when I eventually win, when I change the rules halfway through to suit me.
Well, I do have to say, I think our wish is that neither of us win it, because then we have to pay full price for the jersey.
Exactly. Yeah, I think if that's the worst case scenario for me, is for Will to win, because I had to buy a full price jersey. But if one of you beautiful people win it, we can split it.
We'll be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a great breakdown, Will. What a great breakdown. Any final thoughts, Will? What do you think happened today on Thursday? Any thoughts on the news today? No? Wild.
Did you see who refused to be Tottenham's manager today?
Is that Daniel Levy up to his old tricks? Wow. Well, we'll tell you about all that and more in the next episode of the Ross's podcast coming next Monday. Euros will be well underway next Monday, and we're going to be right here with you through the whole thing.
Come on, Turkey.
Come on, Turkey. We'll do it for Halil.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would Claudia say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?